Okay. UMAR Ahmed, IFL TV, MTK Global. We're in Brooklyn, New York. It's Golovkin fight day, joined by Paulie MALIGNAGGI.
What's going on over here? Where are you for a Golovkin fight?
Yeah, man. Yeah, right, just talk me through a couple of your fighters here then. How many have you got here?
I sponsor Alessio Cangelosi, an amateur kid right now. Him and his brother Christian, they're from Italy, and they've been coming back and forth to the U.S. the last couple of years. So I'm trying to turn Christian pro. Alessio's still going to be an amateur for the next maybe a year or two more, you know.
Oh.
But he's here today to spar with Richard Comey. They've got some good experience. They've got international experience and whatnot, so he can handle himself.
How many fighters are you working with?
I'm not working with any. I just sponsored him, but today the trainer can come because he's away in camp with his son. So I'm here going to help him out, be in the corner, you know, try to do little things.
Yeah, just see Richard behind me. Obviously, got a huge fight coming up.
Yeah.
Defending his world title against
We're
Tiffany
actually
Lopez.
going to work with him today.
Yeah?
Yeah.
What do you make of that fight?
Oh, I think it's a great fight. It's got fight of the year written all over it, man. I think it's got a lot of potential. Two explosive fighters, two very good fighters, and two fighters that are very TV friendly. And I think it's a fight very much to look forward to.
Expect the winner to fight Lomachenko. Obviously, all top ranked guys.
I think it's feasible to come with that conclusion. You know, it's all top ranked guys, so. You know, it's definitely it eliminates the kind of the politics in the mix, and you could be able to make the fight. But we'll see. You know, we'll see how much they tear into each other first, and how much it takes to come back from that fight and whatnot. And we'll see in the new year. But I think Comey versus Lopez is probably a better fight than any of the winners against Lomachenko too, just because the styles I think will blend into it in a really action-packed style.
I have to say, your interview you done with Kugan about Saudi Arabia is probably one of the best videos I've seen go on the channel.
Which one?
The one at your call.
Oh, your call, yeah.
When you remembered.
I didn't know I was in your call. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, that video on Saudi Arabia was brilliant. But I think you were bang on as well. Like, just the way society is at the moment. Everyone complains about everything.
Yeah. It's just much better to chill out and let things be, you know. And it can't be the be-all, end-all. Like, we can judge one thing, but then, you know, ourselves, we probably have to judge ourselves first, you know? Like, nobody's perfect, you know? And for every good deed you think you see somebody doing, they're probably doing some bad deeds behind your back anyway, you know what I mean? Everybody is. Nobody's perfect, you know? So I don't like the whole judgmental thing, and I don't like whatever else that people come up with, you know? Like, you know, people want to judge Saudi Arabia for you know, the things they do, and honestly, it's none of my business. And I'm sure there are things that shouldn't be happening there. But then again, there are things in the UK and the US that shouldn't be happening either, that are happening behind the scenes in politics and whatnot. So really, who are we to judge? You know, who are we to judge? And you know, who are we to tell the fighters that they can't make that kind of money when it's being offered out there? You know, at the end of the day, we all have to make our living. We all have to make to the best of our ability, and. Yeah, the world's got to be a better place, but it's not it's not for the people that are not in power to judge it and just decide to boycott. Because if you're boycotting, then you might as well boycott everything, including your own country. You know. True.
Sticking with the heavyweight division, we've seen WILDER-ORTIZ II has been announced. Are you surprised Deontay's taking that fight, Paulie?
I think it's a good fight. I can't say I'm surprised. I think people wanted to see the rematch when it first happened. Just then, people got caught up in the whole Wilder and Fury fight, you know? But I think when the fight first happened with Wilder and Ortiz, I think people would have loved to see a rematch. It was a very good fight. It's just that then Wilder and Fury took center stage, and that the rematch talk of that fight came to a head, you know? But I think Wilder and Ortiz is an interesting fight. There was some things Ortiz did to trouble Wilder in the first fight, and I'm curious to see if Wilder can make those adjustments.
Okay, we expected that fight to actually land on Showtime, considering Wilder Brazil was on Showtime. It is on Fox pay-per-view. What do you make of that, Paulie?
I don't know. You know, I think it's I guess from what I was told, you know, there was a price that Fox was willing to pay that Showtime didn't. Honestly, I just commentate the fights, bro. Like, if I go behind the politics and whatnot, you know, I don't even know what's really going on back there, you know. But that's what I was told.
Okay. Have you seen Deontay's recent comments on you?
Yeah, I did. I think, you know, I think we're just focusing too much on the first fight. You know, people are so focused on the first fight that they're not really thinking about that there's a potential for a second fight. They're not really thinking about the potential for Wilder-Ortiz fight even to be a very good fight. You know, like I think people are just focused on the first fight, and even Deontay still focusing on the first fight in the comments and whatnot. You know, it's he's not entitled to his opinion. I think we're all entitled to our own opinion. At day's end, I don't think I really influenced anybody, because I think the only people that thought he won the fight were the American fans, regardless. You know, or some of the American fans, regardless. So Showtime is only on in the U.S. It's not on internationally. You know, so if I had been the one to influence people, you would have seen some international fans also thinking Wilder won the fight. I've yet to find one. But I think, nonetheless, it was a good fight. I think, you know, that what gets lost in all this is the fact that it was a good fight. It had a lot of drama. You know, I think Fury won the majority of the rounds, but the dramatic things Wilder can do with his punching power is really something spectacular. And I think that's what that's why people are so curious about the rematch. You know, can Wilder make the adjustments? But also, if it's just Wilder coming down to just the power, is he going to be able to get Fury out of there this time? And if he's not, is he going to be able to make the adjustments? Because Fury's a tough guy to adjust to, you know what I'm saying? He's got that height, he's got that length, he's got that reach, and he knows how to use it in an athletic style. So I find these guys to probably be the two best heavyweights in the world right now, you know? So I think the fact that people discuss it is a great thing. But let's also not forget that Ortiz gave Wilder some trouble in the first fight, and there are adjustments that Deontay needs to make. I'm not going to tell you what they are. I know what they are. I'm not working the fight, though. So I want to see if everybody else comes up with the adjustments. I know exactly what Ortiz did, and I know exactly why Ortiz was successful. There was one particular thing he did, and I'm very curious to see if it's brought out by anybody, and I'm very curious to see if Deontay himself understands what he needs to do in the rematch. I think, obviously, Deontay knew what to do in the first fight because he made the adjustment and he won the fight, but there was one particular adjustment that he's going to have to figure out what he risks in this fight again, you know? And that's, of course, the point of the heavyweight division being at a championship level, is you're supposed to be in risk fights, and credit to Deontay for doing that. But I think there's an adjustment needs to make, and we'll see if it gets made. Okay, very interesting. Tyson and Ben Davison came in for a fair bit of criticism after the Otto Wallin fight. Did you think that was justified, Paulie? With what? With the fact that they didn't know where the cut came from or whatnot?
Not about the cut, just about the performance itself.
I don't think there's a way to judge Tyson Fury. I mean, does he ever really look good unless he's in with a big name fighter?
Good point.
I think June was like an anomaly when he looked good against a guy we didn't know. You know what I'm saying? Like, for the most part, when he fights, he's kind of fights.
Oh, against Tom Schwartz, you mean? Yeah.
For the most part, when he fights, he's kind of fights. When he fights a lesser opposition, so to speak, I mean, kind of struggles, or even if he doesn't struggle, he doesn't look so great, you know? It's kind of been his MO, you know? It's kind of been what he's been known to do. And so I remember saying it before the Wilder fight. I remember saying, like, you know, we didn't give Fury a chance in the Klitschko fight, because going into the Klitschko fight, he really hadn't performed.
Against Christian Hammer, he didn't look right.
He hadn't looked so great in any of the fights prior to the Klitschko fight. So you think, okay, this guy's doesn't really have a chance. And then he didn't look so great going into the Wilder fight. But I mentioned something. I didn't want to say it for sure, because I'm not obviously Nostradamus, but I didn't want to. I said, you know, don't forget, this guy never looked great going into the Klitschko fight. And look at the performance he put on in the Klitschko fight. And sure enough, he didn't look great going into the Wilder fight, but he's capable of, on a night, putting it all together and giving us a great performance. So when he looked great against Schwartz, I think it was more so unlike him. I think and not to discredit Wallin, but the way he looked against Wallin, it's probably more so that is more comparable to a typical Tyson Fury fight when he's not in with a big name fighter. But I don't think that means anything as far as the rematch with Wilder, if it is to happen next year or whatnot. If Wilder's successful against Ortiz, I don't think the Wallin performance is anything to judge Fury by. But credit to Wallin nonetheless. Well,
last night's antics at the WWE probably suggest that the rematch will happen. I think the promotion's well underway now.
Yeah. I think that was brilliant. I think Tyson is a character, and I think he's made for something like that. He's made for a WWE type of character. He's other size, and obviously he's a big guy, so he can kind of get in there with these guys and look the part. But I always looked at him from the time I remember when he got in the ring after Wilder knocked out Szpilka, when he threw his jacket on the floor and he got in there. I said, this guy's like a wrestling character. It's great, you know. So I think it was smart to put him in. And I think they should probably do a little bit more with him. But maybe not so close to the fight, or we don't want him injured.
How popular is that in America? Because a lot of people would have seen that, right?
Yeah, very popular. I mean, I don't watch it anymore like I used to, but I mean, they fill out arenas constantly. So, I mean, it's certainly something to go by. And Tyson, like I said, Tyson knows how to play it up, so it's good. Definitely.
How was Ultimate Boxer the other night, Paulie?
Good. I think Ultimate Boxer is yet to disappoint. And I think it's the format is so fan friendly, and it's so and it's with 3 rounds, and you've got to change your career. We're not getting guys who aren't hungry. You know, that's the thing. We look for guys who are hungry. We look for guys that are good fighters, but they're hungry fighters. That, you know, and the reason they're hungry is a lot of times they haven't gotten their break, or they haven't gotten the opportunity they may have deserved, or maybe just haven't gotten it yet, and they just can't find an entrance into the mainstream, so to speak. And so I think the formula is get a bunch of hungry fighters first, and then secondly make sure they're good too, make sure they can fight, you know, and the majority of them can fight. And then you put them all together. You only give them 3 rounds for a fight, and they don't have a feeling out process. They just have to go out and show their skills right away and get aggressive. I've yet to be disappointed with an Ultimate Boxer tournament. I gotta be honest with you. And then we have the branding we have done by Ben Shalom, the president. You know, he's branded in a way where, you know, the youth kind of can appreciate it. And I think there's no better there's no better way to really have a good night out, because this is fan friendly for both boxing fans and non-boxing fans. Because I'm telling you, most of the guys you're gonna see in Ultimate Boxer, even if you're a boxing fan, you're not gonna know who they are. You know, so it's just you're just as ignorant to them as a fan who doesn't understand boxing. Except maybe you might understand the tactical part a little bit better if you're a boxing fan. But nonetheless, I think it's a new thing for everybody. And I know Prize Fighter did it before, but we're doing it a little bit differently, and we're doing it more so entertainment brand based. And I think it's gonna go great, especially in this generation where, you know, you're seeing the KSI versus Logan Paul type of fight and all this other stuff. I think it's very, very, very interesting.
Do you think it could go international, Ultimate Boxer?
I think that'll be the plan. You know, I think that'll be the plan, and I think it has the potential to do that. You know, I think nonetheless, I think we're building it big in the U.S. I mean, in England, the U.K. right now. And then as we continue to build the brand in the UK, we're gonna go international as well. And I think, like I said, I just don't think there's a way it can't succeed. I really think fans, you want to see action fights, you're gonna get action fights. It's just I've done 5 of them so far, and they've all been good. It's just I'm waiting for one to disappoint, and they just don't. You know, it's crazy.
A big talking point from the night was obviously the interview you did with BT. Afterwards, and you talked about Conor McGregor and called him out. Have you seen possibly Eddie might be bringing Conor McGregor back to boxing? I don't know if it's just a bit of like banter. Did you see his tweet last night?
Yeah, well, Eddie's a real genius businessman, you know, a really smart businessman. So, I mean, if he's got an ace up his sleeve, I wouldn't be surprised, you know, and I wouldn't be surprised. I just don't think Conor McGregor can box, so I don't know.
Who would he fight?
Well, you probably got to get him like the guy that sold me these nuts the other day, you know, the other hour. The guy who sold me I just went to the store and got some water. So the guy who sold me the water, you could probably get him.
All right.
And maybe the guy who sold me this juice, you know, you can get him. And that's a few wins right there, you know, that you can get. You can get him a few wins right there. You're gonna have to search hard. You're gonna have to go to all these corner stores and get some opponents. But then once you do that, you can build up his record, and from there you might have something.
Bob from Brooklyn.
Yeah, exactly. Well,
Eddie could probably sell that, to be fair.
Yeah, Eddie could. And to be honest, to be fair, I think Conor could. I think Conor could sell himself against the heavyweight, you know. So I'll be honest with you, he's a good businessman, but he can't fight, and at least not in boxing. But it's worth a shot.
Are you interested in fighting him, Paulie?
Yeah, I'll fight with one hand, bro. I just beat up his boy with one hand. Oh, you know who won that fight. Come on, we don't win that fight. So at the end of the day, yeah, we could do it, but I don't really think that's a realistic possibility. I'm the last guy he wants to kick his ass. Trust me. After all the banter, he's gonna go a different way.
There was a nice clip of you and Artem, obviously after the fight. Have you spoken since?
No, but you know, I may not agree with the decision, but Artem's entitled to go about and enjoy the victory and, you know, try to make the most out of it, you know.
It wasn't his fault, obviously.
Yeah, it wasn't his fault at all. I mean, if I catch those judges anywhere, we're gonna have a problem, but no, it's not.
Would you rather fight the judges or Conor?
Well, Conor, because he's been the root of the problem, but the judges ain't too far off, bro. If I catch those judges, they're gonna have a problem. Yeah. It's not that difficult to score that fight. It wasn't like it was a complicated fight to score. So you had to want to screw me in that fight to give it to him, because there was no other way you could give it to him any other way if you didn't want to screw me to begin with.
Okay, Paulie, just to round this interview off, I do want to get your thoughts on the return of Nigel Benn at 55 years old.
Is he really coming back? I keep hearing.
It's official.
Yeah?
Yeah. So it's been a crazy year for boxing. So many things have been happening with this Saudi thing, KSI Logan Paul, Canelo Kovalev.
So, who's Nigel fighting?
Sakio Bika.
Yeah, that's a real fight.
Yeah. It's on pay-per-view as well in the UK. So.
Wow. I mean, Sakio's not young himself, you know?
Only fought, I think, 1.5, 2 years ago.
Sakio's probably, what, like my age?
Yeah, I think so.
Maybe
Just a little bit older.
Lower?
Yeah.
That's wild. But Sakio's so dirty, though, man. Like,
Awkward fighter as well.
awkward, like, but not that Nigel was a squeaky clean fighter himself, but I'm saying, you know, Nigel was known to bend the rules a bit too, but I'm saying, you want to be in that kind of fight when you're, what, is he 55?
Nigel's 55, hasn't fought for 23 years.
Yeah. I mean, I always think Nigel brought some of the more fun fights. I think that rivalry with him, Eubank, and Watson, and Collins, and all those guys, and even sadly, you know, the McClellan fight. I mean, some of a really great era in fighting. I don't know what to make of it. I mean, but Nigel likes a fight, you know. And if you're gonna fight at that age, you probably want to be a bit more crafty, like Bernard Hopkins was, you know, when he was a little older, you know, and just like understand how to avoid the action and how to avoid the confrontation in the ring, and just, you know, pick your spots. But I don't know that Nigel ever knew how to fight that way. You know? Nigel was always just a fighter through and through. And at that age, can you carry on fighting at that advanced age in a fight where you will have to fight? You know what I'm saying? Where you won't like be able to carry the pace and kind of slow things down in a la Bernard Hopkins. You know, like. I don't think that was ever Nigel's style. I'd be really shocked if he was able to do that, you know? So, especially against a guy like Bika, who's going to bring it and be really dirty and rough and all that other stuff. Granted, Bika himself may be past his best days, but certainly Nigel is, right? I mean, I don't know. I'm thinking out loud because this is all new to me. I'm processing it as you're telling me, but I guess it's interesting, you know? Listen,
People are concerned about his health, though.
Yeah. I mean, he's still 55. I don't think you want to be getting hit in your head at that age, you know? Because, you know, when you start to see the damage in later life from boxing, you start to see it usually in guys' 50s and 60s, right? So if Nigel's good right now, you know, he's already beaten the game. You don't want to test it and get hit in your 50s like that, you know? But
I'm sure he's got plenty of money as well, so.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know his money situation. I don't know if it's that. His son's doing very well, and you know, he's had a good career going. I don't know. You know what? I just hope they're both all right. You know, I'm at the age where, you know, I don't really root for any particular fighter in particular. You know, I just kind of watch a fight and just hope they come out of it, both of them okay, and put on a good fight for everybody. You know, and I guess that's all I can hope for.
All right, Paulie. Thanks for your time in here in Brooklyn. What time are you getting to the Garden?
I don't know. Time to make the main fight start.
Golovkin probably what, 10:30 ring walk?
Yeah.
Guessing.
Give it 7, 8 o'clock. We'll see.
All right. See you there, man.
Later.
Good man.